It's an NRL news update thanks to Rogers Willex, trailer air brake axles, suspensions and couplings.
What a time to drop this. Raiders website. Raiders legend stays for one more year on the eve of the NRL Final Series. Raider, nice number too, Raider number 300. Josh Papali'i has officially re-signed with the club for a 16th season at the Green Machine in 2026. 327 games for the Raiders. That's the most capped. 3 tries from 22 games this season. Did he get 2 in that milestone game?
When he went past, when he officially went past Croker.
He got 2.
Called that game. Yeah, me, Jimmy Smith, and I think Timmy Manor were there for that game. That was unbelievable. And Ricky was crying on the sidelines. It was all happening. Everyone, like, they were doing the Viking clap halfway through the game. Mate, there feels like there's just good juju around.
Oh, there's great.
It does. It feels the storylines with the way everything's played out. I've been saying it since Magic Round.
Yeah.
They've given me no reason to jump off them.
No.
But in saying that, they've got the hardest, in my opinion, they've got the hardest test of the weekend on Sunday as well.
Scopey, in early April, I backed Raiders to play the Broncos in the grand final.
You got on it?
At $61. And the fact they meet each other?
Yeah, hurts.
That's good.
It's not impossible.
That's perfect.
No, for sure you'd rather them on the other side because I reckon
they're
they'll
now on the other side. They're guaranteed to be on the other side, and you're guaranteed to have one team in the prelim.
I got you.
I think it's the perfect
So
outcome.
in 2013, we played the Roosters first week of the finals. We doubled
4-0.
We doubled down. We met them again in the grand final.
Who was the winger who had a blinder? The fullback.
Pettihiku.
Pettihiku
ran for like 300 metres or something. It was like his third game.
He was about 9 years old. Wasn't
Yeah.
So
It can happen.
dreams are free. Well done to Josh Papali'i. Will he play? That's a big question. Scott Penn shuts down Manly rumours. Let's go to the audio from Channel 9, shall we?
Yes. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I want to do this, is just put that to bed. The next 2 years he's contracted, but we see him as a long-term coach.
Long-term coach?
Must have been talking about Seabold. Yeah, Siebes. I think they.
Gotcha.
There was I remember. I've watched the interview, so there's a bit of chat around Turbo. There's also some chat around Siebes, and yeah, that was the gist of it. But yeah, it would similar to the way I felt about Ches. Not finishing his career at Manly. I'd feel the same. Turbo's got to finish at Manly. Turbo and Jakey have to finish at Manly.
Mate, if he goes to the Super League, and with the greatest respect to Super League, as soon as he gets off the plane, just go and give him the Man of Steel medal.
Yeah,
just put it straight on him because he's going to win it. So just put it straight on him.
I'm
too good.
I'm trying to think of players, and I've got one that comes that is front of mind. A player of his caliber potentially heading to the Super League at still a reasonable age. And the last one I can think of is Jamie Lyon, when Jamie Lyon went over.
Yep.
And then he basically won. I know he won at least
St. Helens?
St. Helens. Destroyed him over there.
Yep.
And won a couple of trophies. I think he might even won a Man of Steel.
Yep.
Because you just, like, normally those players, it's like the Jared Hargraves or the Luke Kearys of the world last year, establish careers, go over there for a swan song, have a couple of years at that level. If anything, that would be really disappointing if Turbo wasn't playing for Manly at this age, for the next 2 or 3 years.
I get that, right? But the bloke clearly, and by the looks of him and everything you hear from him, he seems like a pretty buttoned-up guy, right? So I'm tipping that he's done okay for himself financially. He's been very shrewd and smart around that. If the bloke wants to go over there and carve him up because apparently there is one position in the team that's exempt from the cap.
Marquee player.
So you could pay him whatever you want.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah. They never had to worry about a marquee on me, though, Shug. So I don't, there were for sure, whether it's like do your best and pay them as much as you can.
Yeah.
Like I know the game is nowhere near as strong as it was maybe in the early 2000s and around that era, but yeah, for sure. Like, 500,000, maybe more, 600,000, which would be, exchanged over to Australia somewhere around the mil mark for Turbo. But where would he play? Like I like the some of the chat, and I've heard the rumours around a team like London. That would be, if I was advising him, I would have I don't know what the London Broncos system's going to look like, and I've heard that Lockie might be attached to it, and that'd be great. But it's a tough carry when you don't play at one of the big four clubs over there.
That is true. Yeah, that is absolutely.
It's a long season, so if I was him, I'd be advising him to be looking at the teams like St Helens, Wigan, all the big clubs.
Penn says this. I was about to call him Sean Penn. It's Scott Penn. He said, "I'm sure he's on the list for R360 as well as a bunch of other clubs. We need to make sure we're going to be successful in 2026 and make it attractive for Tom to stay." Just going back to Seabold, we thought, Brian and I, that Ennis was done for another year. But it was an offer. So he hadn't accepted that offer. Then the news went to Laurie Daly. Who's the person he needs, Seabold?
Oh.
If he's the Batman, who needs to be Robin?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I've got to sort of go have a look through the candidates. It's like a weird position for him too, because you'd have to, like, he's clearly under pressure, right?
Yeah, of course.
Like that's obvious. So it's almost like you want to add someone with experience, but like not the ambitions to become a head coach. Because you'd feel like, just say if he got a candidate like a Justin Holbrook or a Brad Arthur or someone like that who clearly has aspirations to become a first-grade head coach.
And when you're under the pump, the club's kind of going, well, if this falls apart, we've got...
Exactly. You'd be worried about that, right?
Coach X in.
That's something that, as a coach, I don't know, like, it depends on your personality.
Yeah.
Like, if you've got a strong enough personality, then you deal with it and you try to surround yourself with the best possible people. But I don't know, just looking at from afar at his situation, I'd assume he'd probably want someone he's got a good relationship with, maybe has done the coaching gig, wants an extended break, has no ambitions to ever become a first-grade coach, but can still give him, great information. So I don't know, like, how many... who did you say, Mitchie? Sorry? Okay.
I thought it was something else. Okay, let's move on then. I think he wants us to move on to the Nelson Asafa-Solomona. Shop to the Warriors. You know who else has been shopped to the Warriors, or who would like to speak to the Warriors? Khan Pereira.
Khan Pereira?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
He's been linked to the Warriors. So, But let's go back to NAS. So Fox Sports reporting that the Melbourne Storm have shopped Nelson to the Warriors, weighing up the future of NAS as his disciplinary issues concern for the club. He's currently on a deal until the end of 2028, worth $800K per year. Would he scoop that up on the open market anyway?
Not 800.
No, not
I don't. Yeah. I feel sorry for Big Nas.
Yeah.
I reckon the rule changes have really gone against him, and I know there are other big boys out there, but he feels like he's probably the biggest, the most mobile, the most aggressive out of all of them, right? Like, there are other big bodies like Benjamin Takura and even Payne Haas, but Payne Haas, I think it's more to do with his tackling technique. Like, Payne Haas is an outstanding ball runner, but defensively he'll stay pretty tall and just takes and sort of bear hugs them into the ground. Big Nas just can't catch a trick at the moment, and I reckon it might be one of those ones where, like, the breakup will be good for both.
Yeah.
Like, it really will. I think he could really go to a team like the New Zealand Warriors if they took him on, and maybe the Melbourne Storm chip in a couple of 100,000 to make it happen as well, because they're clearly getting frustrated with him if they are willing to move him on. So maybe it works out for both, where they go, you know what, you've been such a good servant for us for so long. It's just not working here at the moment. There is, especially all the big games that he plays in, feels like this is a big spotlight every time he gives away a penalty, he's involved in something. So maybe a change of scenery could be good for Nas.
Let me ask you this. If he's being shopped to the Warriors, let me ask you this really quickly. We have to break. But if South Sydney are courting, it seems, David Fafita, which of the two would you want?
Nas. I would go Nelson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. South fans, what do you think? Let's get into these NRL finals. Week 1 preview. As I keep saying, SEN calling all of these games, including the grand final. It's game on at Hyundai with offers like the dynamic Tucson from $39,990 drive away while stocks last. Let's talk about these Bulldogs, Storm and the Bulldogs. Breaking news, Michael Chammas reporting that Jacob Kiraz will play.
Well,
will play.
That changes a lot. It's a huge in just because of how bad or how heavily that the Melbourne Storm targeted Tuala in the last game, which was only a month ago now.
Yep.
Xavier Coates and Will Warbrick are arguably I was just about to say they're the best tandem in the competition. I reckon maybe Marky Mark and Daniel Tupou would be right up there with them this year. But they were last year for sure, in my opinion. So that's huge. He'll be a big in. I'm going tinfoil hat on another selection.
Oh, yeah.
So all the chat around Toby Sexton replacing Reid Marnie on the bench. In my heart of hearts, I think Toby Sexton will start at 7, Lachlan Galvin at 6, and Matty Burton will play in the centres.
I hope that's right. If that's the case, they can win the game.
Because I am not confident. I wouldn't be confident if I was a Bulldogs fan, player, coaching staff. Not to say that all these 3 guys aren't really good first graders, but all 3 of them basically been thrust into the starting lineup for Blake Wilson and Jethro this game, and Inari Tuala only recently with the Carraz injuries and Marcelo Montoya out. I don't think you roll into a game down in Melbourne with those 3 in the back line. So Carraz is a big tick, all right, so that eliminates it. Maybe they're only 2. I think, more than likely they've probably got more chances sticking with 2 of the 3 now.
So who makes way? Like, if Kiraz is back, is it Jethro?
I think it's Jethro or Blake Wilson. Jethro got the jump on him throughout the season. Blake Wilson's been a part of big games with the Bulldogs now for a couple of years. So here we go. I think they're both gone. That's how my strategy works. That's how my tinfoil hat was.
So what you're saying, Scope, is, and I hope you're right, you're saying
Burton goes to left centre.
Inari goes to the wing.
Inari goes to the wing. Burto goes to left centre. Stephen Crichton at right centre. Inari Tuala and Jacob Carraz on the wings.
Did you hear Hammy this morning on Morning Glory?
No, what did he come up with?
He was very good. Hammy was very good with Maddie and the team. so Hammy throws. He said to the boys, boys, I've got some rare audio of Cameron Ciraldo talking about his team. Yeah. You didn't see this?
No.
And then he played.
He's got good stuff though, Hammy.
He goes, and then he played, I'm bringing sexy back. I didn't do that justice, Hammy. You did a great job this morning with that. It's a great show. Morning Glory. Terrific show. Now, our Bulldogs update, and as we said, Michael Chamas was reporting that Kiraz, and if Chamas is reporting it, I'm tipping it's right, that Kiraz will play tonight for the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs update thanks to Blue Wealth Property. Blue Wealth Property invests with research. Email them at sen@bluewealth.com.au is the way to do that with Tony and the team. All righty, let's move on to... What
about the other side? Melbourne. Late changes.
Yes.
Marion Seve and Jack Howarth both lurking amongst the reserves as well. I'm expecting Joe Chan... Well, I don't think Joe Chan will start in the centres. I think Joe Chan will become a bench player.
Hey, we're reading the same sheet.
So
either Seve might play fullback?
I like that one.
You like that?
I love it.
He rolled that out, no Hughes, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
He played well.
He did against Penrith.
Yeah. He played well.
I don't hate it. So then when Jonah Pezzett comes into the 6, Meany goes back into the centres.
Yeah. Because you are taking on Stephen Crichton. And that's where Meany would be, right?
No, they're both right centres. So Meany would be on the opposite.
Sorry. Jack Howarth would have that job if he comes back into the side.
I think Jack Howarth's in the team.
Jack Howarth, right. Yeah, 100% right, Scope. So,
But like they could still do both. Like as good as Grant Anderson's been, let's look at the lineups here, Shug. Grant Anderson and Joe Chan. Grant Anderson has been their Mr. Fix-It, but by no means is he a lock. And would I feel comfortable with Grant Anderson in a big game against Stephen Crichton one-on-one? Yeah, it'd be all right. I'd prefer Jack Howarth. I'd prefer a bigger body. I'd prefer him. He's gone up against him, I was going to say in the grand final, no, but Critter had already moved on. I could see a world in which I'd like that. I like the tinfoil hat with Munster playing fullback.
Okay. One thing that Scopey and I do agree on, I think, is that we both believe that both teams won't be 1-17.
Yeah, there's some.
Well, we already know that. They're already not 1-17, the Bulldogs, because Reid Marnie is out. The 2 replacements still on the list. So not in the 17 currently, but still on the list. Melbourne Jack Howarth, Melbourne Marion Seve, Bulldogs Harry Hayes, Jacob Kiraz. We were hearing from Chamas that Kiraz will play. I reckon 3 of the 4 will play.
I was just about to say
you
that.
saying the same?
So one of the centres will play for the Melbourne Storm,
Yep.
Marion Seve or Howarth, and they'll play centres. And I reckon Harry Hayes and Carraz will both play.
Both play.
Yeah, if fit, because Hayes had that injury against Melbourne down there about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and just depends on whether he's. I think who would make way.
Well,
You know what? That's when you start looking at the Sexton into the starting
that's
lineup
right.
change.
That's right.
Yep.
That's exactly right. And that's where Jethro and Blake Wilson could both make way for those two. That could very much happen. All right, folks, it's all up in the air. There's no doubt about that. It's so exciting. It is a great time of the year. And I've got to say, I'm 46, and I think I mentioned this in the first hour. I reckon this is the best final series of all time. As far as, like you said in the break, and I totally agree, you said that 7 of the 8 teams can win the comp.
Yeah. Shout out to the Warriors. Unfortunately, the Warriors and this may sound weird because of that statement. There's a part of me that feels like the Warriors could do something tricky and do the face. So you know what? This is what I'll go back to.
Yeah.
The Warriors ruined it for everyone.
Yep.
And what would I say that, Sugar, with regards to the Penrith Panthers?
The Warriors ruined it for everyone with regards to the Penrith Panthers. Don't know.
After the second Origin game, when
Oh,
Ivan
yes.
rested all his players,
Yes.
they went over an understrength
Yep.
championship Penrith Panthers team, went to New Zealand. The New Zealand Warriors had a full deck of cards, bar like injury, and Kurt Capewell, who was rested from the game as well.
Correct.
The Warriors had the opportunity to just put the dagger into the Panthers, and they weren't able to do it. Penrith go on this ridiculous run. They go and beat the Bulldogs, I think, the following week. And then they go on this crazy run. They go on such a good run that they're able to rest players.
How did that happen? Imagine saying to them at halfway through the comp, you're running last, but relax, you're going to be in a situation where not only are you going to make the finals,
You can rest.
you're going to rest players.
Yep. So like they wouldn't have had the ability to rest, which strengthens their case now for a premiership going into the finals. So the Warriors, the irony of it all is that the Warriors had the opportunity to, I think, that would have been the final dagger.
Yeah,
If
that's
they
a
were-
nail.
That was the nail on the coffin for
Yep.
the Panthers' premiership titles and top 8 aspirations.
Yep.
They go on this crazy run after it. Imagine if they allow them to get all the way into the finals and then still are able to pull off the unthinkable. Anyway, the Warriors can't win the comp, in my opinion.
No, they can win this game.
They can win this game.
They can win this game.
Yeah.
But they can't do it 4 times.
No.
Can they? Let's talk about these Warriors and Panthers. In fact, before we go, actually, I need to ask you something. And if you want to feel old, folks, or if you don't want to feel old, maybe turn the radio off temporarily. Matthew Johns, I love his podcast Backstage. He interviewed Jerome Hughes. And he was talking about their podcast, the 167, Your Man Munster.
Yep.
Pappenhausen.
Pappenhausen and Hughesy.
And Hughesy, the 167 podcast, right? Yep. And he was saying, Matty said, what's the dynamics of this podcast? You know, like who's Jerry? Who's George? Who's Elaine?
Yeah.
And Jerome said, what are you talking about? Who's Kramer?
He didn't get the Seinfeld. Too young.
He goes, what are you talking about? He goes, what you said? Seinfeld, mate.
Yeah.
He goes, don't know. He's never heard of Seinfeld. Jerome Hughes, a Dalian medalist, has never heard of Seinfeld.
You know why? That's the back end of my vintage Sugar. I reckon my era, and I'm about to turn 40 next year, I reckon my era are the last of catching Seinfeld before you're a kid and then you'll even see it on TV.
But he's the first wave of the non-Seinfeld knowers.
Yeah, he would be. He would be up there.
That's unbelievable. That is ridiculous.
So he wasn't able to answer the question then, who runs? Because in my opinion, looking at...
Yeah, well, you tell me.
I reckon Pappy he's the one that controls everything.
Is he Jerry?
He's Jerry.
Yeah.
Munster's
Kramer.
George.
Oh, George.
Yeah, George or Kramer, one or the other.
Take your pick,
take your pick.
Yeah.
And then Hughesy's Eileen.
That's terrific. Let's talk about these Warriors and Panthers now. Be careful about the hand biting the hand that fed you.
Yeah.
So Ivan Cleary backed Andrew Webster, brought him up, taught him how to coach, gave him the chance. They went and won a premiership together, maybe 2.
Yeah. Got a couple.
They got 2 together?
Yep.
Okay, then he went to the Warriors. Now they coach against each other. But the big one here for me, this is the reason why the Warriors can beat the Panthers. Nobody gave the Kiwis last year a chance in the Pac Champs. Madge Maguire coached at the time. We caught up with Stacey Jones. You can catch it on YouTube too, by the way, yesterday. It was the leadership of James Fisher-Harris, I'm told.
He's the one player.
So you know what he did, right? And I wonder if he's going to pull the same trick. So he sent a text message or whatever they do, these kids these days, Snapchat or whatever it is, and said,
WhatsApp group or something.
WhatsApp, boys, this is the Kiwi camp. Boys, everyone come down. We're going to watch a movie together and bring a pad and a pen. So this is like the night before they played Australia. They'd been flogged in the semi. It was the Richie McCaw doco, or there was a show about Richie McCaw.
Yep.
And he got them all to watch that, and they're all writing notes. They come out and beat Australia 30-0.
Yeah.
So just for those thinking about multis and just think it's a free tap-in for the Panthers, just be a little bit cautious.
You know what would be the scary part? And, like, for as good as Fish has been for the we'll chat. I reckon we'll chat more in depth about it after the break, because I've got a couple of little nuggets, I think, for Warriors fans that are trying to hang on to a bit of hope.
Sharks and the Roosters, Scopey. Roosters have won 5 of the last 6. They've climbed from 10th to 8th, piled on 202 points in that time. Sharkies, they've won 7 of 8 since round 18 bye, including a dominant 24-6 win over the Dogs. This is a massive game. James Tedesco is going to scoop. There's not a world in which he doesn't win the Dally-M, is there?
No, home. Locked up.
Who runs second?
I would have said Metcalf before he got injured. Katoa was doing some good work, and then he would every time the Dolphins won, he's telling.
Katoa the half, not Ellie
Katoa.
Isaiah Katoa. Yep. Hughes will put up a big fight, but he's not played enough games now.
Yeah, Ethan Strange potentially.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of Canberra players.
Strange for sure is going to be there somewhere.
Who else is going to be in there? But it feels like they share points.
Well, Will Kennedy actually, I think he was leading as they went behind closed
Walshy
doors.
would have been doing his best work late. Maybe too late.
Yep.
Payne, Haas, and Carrigan didn't necessarily have monster years. Panthers, Roosters. He's home. He's home by it.
Absolutely.
Oh, Tommy Dearden, Smokey.
He'll run top 3.
Tommy Dearden will be top 3.
Yeah, I think you're right.
You get points for Origins too, don't you?
No.
You don't? Are you sure? I'm pretty sure they do.
I hope you do. You should.
You should do, because you missed the game at the NRL level. So I think you do. And sometimes you miss too because you rested.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Tommy Dearden. I would go. Actually, I think I'll go Teddy, 1, Katoa of the Isaiah variety, 2nd.
Wow.
And Tommy Dearden 3rd.
Wow. That's a good shout on Katoa. Cleary will charge up the charts too, won't he?
Yeah.
He'll charge late as well. There you go. Okay. Roosters and the Sharks. And again, you'll be calling this game with Jimmy and Spud.
Yep.
We've got all the games covered. Barky Mark Nawanganawazi, he was told he's not eligible for the Rookie of the Year. So he said, you know what? Really? I'm still going to the Dally-M's. And you know why? I'm going to score 1,000 tries in the back end and win the Ken Irvine medal. And that's what he's done.
And he's a huge chance for Winger of the Year as well. Here's how I think this game is going to go. I want the Roosters to win because I think they're a more entertaining team, and I love watching them play compared to the Sharks.
Yep.
But I think the Sharks at home. That's my gut feeling.
Ooh.
That's my gut feeling. I would prefer the Roosters to win.
Yep.
Because, like to see them in a matchup against the loser. What side would they end up on? Are they the loser of the Bulldogs Melbourne game?
No, this is what the beautiful thing is, Scope.
It depends on.
This is the beautiful thing. So we're very lucky. Canberra and Broncos are playing Sunday.
Yes.
And we're also got a Sunday game next week.
Yes.
So the loser of that game will play the following Sunday.
Okay, gotcha.
If you had to choose 4 teams that would be the best in the day, I would say it's the Raiders, Broncos of the final, Roosters and Sharks. And that's the next Sunday draw. So the winner of this game will play the loser of the Broncos and the Raiders away on a Sunday afternoon.
Okay. Yeah, so for me, I think the Sharks they've got the potential to be a pain in the backside for if they and go on a little bit of a run. And I think they'll beat the Roosters, but I'd rather see the Roosters go through.
If you're back in, like you've already said, and I agree, 7 of the 8 teams can win the comp. Unfortunately, it just feels like, no Metcalf. It feels like a bridge too far for the Warriors. If the Sharks won the comp, does Adam Fanua-Blake have to get the Clive? And what I'm saying is, instead of backing him to win the comp, you just back Adam, or does Nico have to get it?
In order for them to win the competition, Nico has to get the Clive.
If you knew they won the comp,
it's because Nico's got the Clive.
Nico's got the medal around him.
Adam's got them there.
Yep.
But in order to win the competition and then
Yep.
for them to win 4 games, I think Nico has to have the medal around his neck.
Okay, well, while we're doing this, let's quickly go through the other teams, right? So if you knew the Roosters won the comp,
Yeah.
has Teddy got the Dally M and the Clive, or
Yeah. Teddy. They live. Oh, Sammy Walker. Sammy Walker could do something like Sammy Walker's got the ability to go on have a Luke Keary type performance and just control everything and 3 try assists and something like that. Sammy Walker or Teddy.
Yep.
Clive Churchill medal winners if the Roosters win.
So you knew Storm had won the grand final. Who's got the Clive? Has
Munster.
Jerome? Munster.
Yeah, it's got to be Munster without Hughes.
Yep.
Because of no Hughes.
Yep.
Normally you could argue Pappy, Munster, Hughes, and Harry.
Yep.
But with no Hughes there, if they win the comp, it's got to be money.
Okay, this is the one I want to get to, and I reckon I'm going to jag you with this.
Okay.
This is the hardest one, I reckon.
Yeah.
If Canterbury won the comp, what's your gut?
I don't have a clear because I would say Crit is their most important player, but
Centres don't win it.
they don't.
I
win
don't
it.
think a centre's ever won it.
And his style of play isn't like as good as he is as an NRL player and championship. He has a couple of clutch moments, but I wouldn't say
He doesn't accumulate Dally M points, does he?
You know what? I'd go with Smokey if I was going to play anything on the Bulldogs. I'd go with Smokey and go Connor Tracy.
Oh,
I'd go
thought
proper
I had ya.
Smokey.
I
Who
thought
would you?
I've backed two. I've backed two at massive prices.
Okay.
80-minute players can score tries
Yeah. Preston.
and kick out.
There you go.
I feel as if they won the comp,
Yeah.
one of those two.
I was contemplating Preston and Tracy
Yeah.
just because I know they're going to give you a 10 out of 10 in effort.
Yep.
Not to say the other players wouldn't, but they're just always in amongst it.
Okay. Broncos.
Walsh.
Just has to be or
Walsh.
Payne Haas.
It's
It's a flip of the coin, though, isn't it?
No,
Or it's
for
only
them-
Walsh.
For me, they're similar.
Because
They're
you know Payne's going to produce.
Yes.
You need him to have his day.
similar to Nico.
Yep.
If the Broncos are to win,
Yep.
it needs to be those two. It needs to be Nico and Reece Walsh.
Okay.
Who's the other one? Who else have we got?
Well, Panthers. Nathan's got 2. Liam's got 1. And
Yoey's due.
Yoey's due.
Yoey's due.
Yeah.
And the way they've had to grind their way is a very Yoey
it's a
type.
yo year.
Yeah, it's a yo year.
Yeah.
It's a yo-yo.
Yeah, it's a yo-yo. If the Warriors did it, if they did it, Lecker or
I'd go.
Wade Egan.
I'd go similar to Tracy. I'd go Chance Klogstad.
Chance, yeah, he's been to a grand final
Chancey,
before.
yeah.
We mentioned Canberra.
We're missing Canberra. Is Canberra the only other team?
I think so.
Canberra.
Joe Taps.
Weeks or Strange.
Weeks or strange.
Weeks or Strange.
Okay, yeah, I don't hate that either. There you go, folks. Remember, roll call too, by the way. So let us know. And Brian has offered a seat to Wong's with us. It's our shout. Brian and I, we're paying for the meal. We've already got 3 coming who won the Supercoach competition, and you can join us as well. What we need for this, for roll call, Scope's going to pop down as well. What we need is the team who wins by the most, by how many, but you also need to tell us what you're doing on this Friday. For example, boys gearing up for a big 30th in Newey tomorrow. I'm heading up from the Central Coast. Canberra win by 22. So that one comes through. There's a stack coming through. We're collating them. Cats all over this. So good luck to you, folks. Get your roll call in and we'll go from there. So a tip, Sharks and the Roosters Scope.
My tip is the Sharks.
Tip is the Sharks. So let's just recap our tips. So you've got, we've both got the Panthers, but we're concerned about an upset. You've got the Melbourne Storm.
Yep.
I've got the Melbourne Storm with an asterisk. I'm going to change that. If Sexton starts at halfback, I'm on the Dogs.
Okay.
Canberra and Broncos.
I'm really, this is the one I'm torn on the most because they're probably the teams that I want to see go on a run. And I think the winner of the grand final is the winner on Sunday.
Yeah, okay. No,
I think the winner of that game will win, will get the week off, which will be huge. And the other team, I think, has the ability to meet them again in the grand final. But I've been in that position myself. 2013 for the Manly Seagulls, we had to go the long route. We ran out of juice in the grand final. Maybe the Roosters were just better because they beat us 3 or 4 times that year. But the margin was always very close up until probably the last 10 minutes of the grand final where they blew us out. So, the winner of the Broncos Raiders, that's my statement. They win.
And who is your winner? Who's your premier then, based on that? Gut.
Canberra Raiders.
Canberra Raiders.
Canberra Raiders. Yep.
Um,
I can't jump off now, Sugar. Since Magic Round, I've been riding them since Magic Round.
Yep.
It's like if I jump off now and they win, I'd be.
No, that's right. No, stay the course. And by the way, folks, we'll get a lot of texts before saying who would blow the horn on grand final day for the Canberra Raiders. We both spoke about this in the break. There's a bloke who won a Clive Churchill at the age of 19, and he did it again at 21. Brad Clyde.
He's got to be the guy.
He's got to be the guy.
Yep.
He's got to be the guy on the big day if they were to do that. 1300 01 1170 is a way to have your say. Text 0457 736 736. Just on some news, Josh Papali'i has been named. There's concern around the ankle. Did you see what Gordy did? So it's very clever from Gordy. He pointed out there was a photo of the inflamed ankle.
Mm-hmm.
And he's claiming, well, it looks as though that's the case, that it's the right ankle, but he's in a left moon boot.
Ah, I haven't noticed that.
Yeah.
I haven't noticed that. Here's my thing with it. Smoke and mirrors. I've rolled my ankle before, Sugar.
Yep.
And had a huge bruise, and it actually not be as bad as it looked.
It felt all right.
Like it was sore, rolled at the time, it flared up. The next day it went down, and people would, this is just when I was playing, they'd look down at the ankle going, oh, what's going on? Are you all right? Like, what's the go? And I was like, yeah, it actually feels right. I ended up playing the next week and I was fine.
Wow.
But it just, for whatever reason, maybe, do you do a blood vessel down there or something like that, where it just blew up and looked purple.
But you were sweet.
I was sweet, and I just didn't feel like I had to strap it up and be, cautious throughout the week, but I was fine.
I played with this guy in England, Mark Shipway. Great bloke, great family, wife Jodie. And Jodie respected the dollar, right? So she didn't mind the dollar, which is fine. And she's doing wonderful things actually up in Redcliffe. And Mark Shipway is one of the toughest blokes I've ever played with. Our coach, Carl, he was one of the toughest Englishmen you've ever met, right? And Mark got ruled out of a game. So there's no match payments coming for the Shipway family that week. So he's been ruled out, and if he's been ruled out, he's properly ruled out. He's that tough. Yeah. He doesn't do push-ups. He pushes the earth down, right? He's that tough. Yeah. And then the next day, Jodie gets him down the park, and she's running at him, right, testing out the shoulder. She rings Carl. Carl Harrison, great Englishman, great front row. He's good to go. He's good to go. So she did her own fitness test, and sure enough, he was good to go. And Mark Shipway does what Mark Shipway does. He's a tough bugger, and he come out and played well. Now, every time I introduce our next guest, folks, I just still can't believe this happened. It is such a story where a young bloke from Western Sydney has the audacity, at the time they were the absolute bee's knees, Manchester United, amongst many other clubs. But he played for Manchester United as the main goalkeeper. Stan Sports' very own Mark Bosnich. Bozza, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Joel. Good afternoon, Justin. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction, Joel. They get better every time.
Facts are facts, Boz. Facts are facts, mate. That is the fact. The other fact is that Ange has a new job at Nottingham Forest. And what's the latest there?
Well, number one, what brilliant timing for us is obviously tomorrow night we've finished our beautiful relationship with Channel 9, obviously with the NRL finals on. We'll revisit that at another time, but we'll be on live at 9 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time on Stan Sports. So get your subscriptions and talk about timing. What timing is it for Ange Postecoglou this weekend? The 9:30 game, which is the time it kicks off, is Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest. And like you said, the world of sport well knows now, Ange has taken over Nuno Espirito Santo, who's done a wonderful job, it must be said. He took Forest to 7th place last year. They were 1 point off a Champions League place, qualified for Europe for the first time in 30 years, got to the semi-final of the FA Cup. But unfortunately for him, if that's the way you want to look at it, he had a very public falling out with their chairman, a chap called Evangelos Marinakis, who's also the chairman of Olympiakos in Greece. And when that occurred towards the end of last season, I thought it was only a matter of time. Now, Nottingham Forest has started off with a win, a draw, and a loss. And, of course, international break, where there's 2 weeks break for all the leagues. Those are the times that it's very dangerous for managers that are under pressure for whatever reason they may be. Marinakis has made the decision. Ange is in. He's back. And we're all going to be very much looking forward to see how he goes, because the style of football that Forest played under Nuno is completely the opposite to what Ange, basically his philosophy. But Ange did show last year on his way to winning the Europa League for Spurs, their first major trophy in 17 years, especially in the quarterfinals, semi-finals, and especially the final against Manchester United, that he can adapt and play a different style of football. So the interesting and the $64 million question is, will he enact it straight away? Will he wait and see how they go? It's a massive game against Arsenal, regardless of if your Real Madrid got beaten by Arsenal last year. If things are going absolutely swimming for you, going to Arsenal in the Emirates is a very difficult place to go at the best of times.
Yeah, so Boz, like, I'd imagine there's so much detail, mate. Like when you talk about completely changing a coach or a system, is it maybe in the simplest terms is do they attack more? Do they counter more? Do they sit back more? Like what's sort of one specific style you think will change in only the short time, mate?
And that's the $64 million question. What's he going to do? Like I said, they had great success playing as a counter-attacking team. So defending a little bit deeper, surrendering possession, and basically hitting teams on the break. Those are the type of players that they've bought for that. They've got Hudson-Odoi on one wing. They've got another boy called Ndoye from Bologna on another wing. That's how they've been playing. Chris Wood, the New Zealand boy, up front to hold the ball up so everybody can catch him up. So that team has been, like I said, curtailed, drilled, and played in a way that their previous manager would like. So now you're Ange Postecoglou. You're coming in. You've got your specific style, a front foot style, and an attacking style. He is going to have to make the decision. Do I do it step by step? Because statistically wise, the type of high intensity, high pace football Ange plays. So last season, just for everyone to know, Tottenham Hotspur under Ange Postecoglou compared to Nottingham Forest under Espirito Santo, Tottenham ran an extra 300 kilometres collectively. Now, if you start to implement that straight away, and you both know, you guys have been sportsmen at the top level, you know, you risk a lot of players actually maybe breaking down or getting injured. So that's going to be the quandary. He might just turn around. You've got nothing to lose against Arsenal. Say, all right, we're going to play a way that I want to play now. He might turn around and say, I might implement a few little tweaks, or he might just leave it as it is. I think it might be the latter. I think he might just leave it as it is, because the 5 games after Arsenal are all very resultable games, let's say. Not winnable games. There's a few little hard ones thrown in there, but they're 5 games they can definitely get results from and win the majority.
What about the resultable game between the Manchester teams then, Boz? Because both these two teams, where they are, I'm looking at the ladder now. So we've got Manchester United in 9th position, Manchester City in 13, and both of them have only just got the 1 win. So 2 big clubs, mate, with a big game on Monday. Who has to win this game?
Yeah.
Or who's more desperate?
Well, that's another very good question. And there's another tip for us that we have in football. Don't look at the table until 10 games have gone. But you're exactly right. You're exactly right. Now, Manchester City started the season off with an absolute storming win against Wolverhampton Wanderers. They've rebuilt. So they've done a Penrith, right? They won 4 straight Premier Leagues, which used to be the old. So it's the first time in English history that a team has won 4 straight championships, right? Last season, they fell off the wagon a little bit. So they've completely rebuilt. They've got some young players in, but a lot of those young players that they've got in have come from other places around the world where the intensity and the physicality of the Premier League is still something to behold for them. It takes them a while to adjust, and also adjust in terms of their relationships with other players. So after winning against Wolves, they lost their next 2 games, and that's huge for them. They're playing at home. Manchester United, we know the problems that they've had for over 10 years. They started off, played very well, but lost to Arsenal. They drew with Fulham. They were quite lucky to get a last-minute penalty. Well, it was a penalty, but lucky to win in 90. I think it was the 97th minute in their game before the international break against Burnley at home. So huge game for both, and I think basically not getting beat for both sides is the most important thing. I actually think at home it's going to be very difficult for Manchester United to overcome Manchester City. But the thing in Ruben Amorim's mind, the manager of Manchester United, will be, we don't want to get beaten today.
Hey, Bozza, this text from Scotty from Forestville. He said, hey, Bozza, I've got friends in England. They're now picking me up a Forest jacket. I'm on the bandwagon. Are they a fun side? Like, is this a good move for, like, do you endorse the move for Ange? Is it a positive move for him?
Look, I do, and isn't it funny as well? He's from Forestville, and we've got a saying as well now. We're telling everybody, everyone's got to get a team. So our man from Forestville is going to be a Forest supporter. I do endorse the move because I actually think that this team can go further. Now, going further means winning trophies. I told you last season, only 1 point, even though I was 7th, there was only 1 point off 5th place, which would have got him into the Champions League. FA Cup semi-final. Now, the type of football that they played, although it was very successful for them, long-term, just to rely sort of on defending deep and hitting teams on the counter is not really sustainable for success. Ange's type of football is long-term. He's shown that throughout his career. He goes and wins trophies. Couple of things he has to basically sort out. Number one, and you two both know this, there will be a lot of players in that dressing room who were very pro the previous manager. And he was unfortunate. Just like Ange was unfortunate to be relieved of his duties by Spurs, Nuno was unfortunate for this to occur because it really had nothing to do with the football. It was more a personality clash with the chairman. Now, the chairman's come out and said, I want him to take us to the next level to win trophies. So that's going to be important. Win over the players first, then slowly the majority of fans, and that's only going to be done by results. This is a results-driven business at the top level, as it is in top-level sport all around the world. And that's really what it's going to come down to.
We can't wait for year 2, can we? That's the year. Year 2, Ange gets it done. I've got a personal question, Boz. I want to ask you a question.
Yep.
I am travelling over at the end of the year. We have the Ashes tour coming up in the rugby league scene.
You did a second test. The second test is at Everton's new stadium, the Hill Dickinson Stadium.
Well, that was going to be a part of my question, mate. So when I lived over there and I played in the Super League, I was lucky enough to go to Old Trafford to watch Manchester United, and I went to Anfield to watch Liverpool. I think we're going to have 3 potentially, because they play the games for rugby league on Saturday. Depending on how the schedule falls out. Do you have a recommendation?
I'm going to cut you off.
Okay,
of course I'll get your tickets.
All right, give it to me.
Of course I'll get your tickets.
No, not the tickets. No, not the tickets.
Yes, Bozza.
Bozza, that's
Yes,
a bonus.
Boz.
That is a bonus. But my question was going to be, aside from the big name clubs like Manchester United, which I've done, and Liverpool, is there a ground or a team that you could recommend that's like maybe not as popular worldwide, but when you went there to a venue, you're like this? It's got a bit of heart about it. It's got a bit of soul.
All of them. Especially with the new stadiums, the atmosphere that you'll experience will be, and you've been there before.
Yeah.
The energy that you get, which is so important with everything in life, energy, is second to none. I'll give you an example. My parents, when they used to come over in the winter times, and I'd say, look, listen, I remember one time with Aston Villa, I said to them, look, I've got your tickets for the box and it's nice and warm in there. They said, no, thanks. We want to go out because our atmosphere is second to none.
Yeah.
So all of them.
Okay.
And off the top of my head, I mean, and a lot of the stadiums are brand new stadiums. There's places like St. James's Park where Newcastle played, and that holds 60,000. That is like pumping. Sunderland are back. Stadium of Light. They'll all be filled to capacity, and all the stadiums are absolutely phenomenal. Now, even Bournemouth, who actually been doing really well, considering they lost their whole back four in the summer. That stadium of Bournemouth only holds like close to 14,000, but the atmosphere when you go inside is absolutely electric because it's full.
Yeah.
Scopey.
And I just wanted to quickly jump in one last thing. I was going to ask the question. I'm glad now that I've got tickets sorted too. That's awesome, by the way, boss. But the other one, mate, you're on the list. When I was over there, there was a documentary called Sunderland Till I Die, because that's what I was hoping for. I was hoping it was going to be Sunderland, because I reckon after watching that documentary, seeing what they've gone through to get back into the Premier League, I think that might be up there for one of the teams that I want to go watch.
100%, and this is the massive advantage of having promotion relegation, because teams can dream, regardless of where they are. I mean, 20 years ago, Brighton were on the verge of actually dropping out of all the professional league, so like the fourth tier, which is now called League 2. They were on the verge of actually dropping out to the part-time, and look where they've built themselves up, up the back. They've been playing in Europe recently as well. So, like I said, any of those teams, and it's very much. Like you said, there's some of the big names and all that who get fans from all around the world, but very much the core is community-based and where you're from, and that makes it special as well. But the biggest thing that makes it special is the atmosphere. That's why it's so loved. That's why it's the biggest domestic sporting competition in the world, because you watch the TV, and when people, when 40,000 people jump up and down, whether or not to throw in for their side or not, people just get excited. So any of those places, you'll be absolutely fine.
The biggest issue of this conversation, the hide the temerity and the gall from you, Justin Horro. We've got a great ear, right? You've done the old advice disguise. So you've pitched to him, I need some advice. The advice disguise, folks, is when you go to somebody for advice, but really you're looking for a favour, you advice disguise Bozza.
No, I didn't, mate. That was that's just Bozza's just a legend, and he threw it out there and looking after me.
100%. 100%. Look, listen, there's going to be a lot of Aussies over there. And like I said, when I said join the list, there's been quite a few ex-players already. There's been a lot of people who want to, and I'm going to try my best for all of you to make sure you go and get a game because, like I said, it's really an experience to have when you go over there to go to a game of any of those games in the Premier League. Each game now has become a real event. And it's it's great to see because when it was the first division and become the Premier League in 1992-93, I was there. Like a lot of my friends were there. We helped build that to this point. So I'm so proud to see what it is now. It really is something special.
Well done, Boz, and well done to your Parramatta Eels. You'd be happy with their finish for the year, wouldn't you?
Not really, because for the last 39 years, this is what's been happening, right?
Yeah.
Right at the end,
really.
they give us hope, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, when there's nothing riding on it, and then, start of next season, you're thinking, yeah, and then it happens again. Something's got to give. Because next year,
Boz,
that's the 40th year that we have not won a grand final.
Parramatta fans and players, if you're listening right now, Boz has basically just said you're about to shoot 100 at golf, but you parred the last hole. And they're excited to come back. Is that what it's like, Boz?
We've mastered us as Parramatta fans and players and ex-players, we've mastered the art of basically giving hope.
Yeah.
And right at the end, it's this time it's become a rhythm. Yeah.
Yeah, there is plenty of hope there, Boz. Though
Yeah.
I think that I like the young team that's coming through at the moment, mate.
I've heard it for 39 years.
Boz, great to have your company, mate.
Yeah.
And thanks for sharing a part of your day with us.
Likewise, and we'll see you all tomorrow night. Remember, and like I said, we've got an Australian version, like we did in the Olympics. We've got an English version. So join us tomorrow night. Pick whichever one you want on Stan Sport from 9 o'clock. Kick off at 9:30. Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest.
I was about to say that, Boz, but you did it for me. Well done, mate. Thank you very much.
All right,
we'll be
buddy.
tuning into Stan Sport. You're an absolute legend of this country, and we appreciate your time. Have a great day, Boz.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys.